All right, guys, we're out here doing some South Arkansas fishing. We had a big cold front hit last night. So these fish have spawned, a lot of these fish have spawned and moved out. Fishing right here down a little ditch swing. Where the fish have moved off a flat around some cypress trees where they had spawned, and now they're sitting up out here staging on the edge of this ditch. Kind of hard to get them to react. These are the days that I break out MiniMax. The neat thing about this bait is it's that lower profile, smaller blade, smaller skirt, smaller hook, but it's gonna trigger those fish that might not react to, say, a big blade, a regular jackhammer. The neat thing that I like about this bait, though, get her out there and see what lives. The neat thing that I like about this bait, though, is I can throw it on the same setup that I throw a regular jackhammer on. They designed this bait with a stout hook in it, and what that allows me to do is throw on the same 14-pound gamma. Look at there. The same 14-pound gamma, same 7-foot medium heavy, moderate fast that I would throw my regular jackhammer on, and I'm not losing anything. I'm not stressing a hook out. I'm not, gonna bend any hooks, nothing like that. It allows me to make those quick changes on the go where I can just cut off my jackhammer, tie on this, don't have to rig up a new rod. He got it good, didn't he? I can just cut it off, tie it right on. I'll keep them on standby just in case this situation arises. But yeah, this bait, it really shines when you get those crazy weather conditions that, like I said, we were out here on a big warming trend. Fish were starting to move like they wanted to, move up and spawn and move out. They were getting in that springtime rhythm, and then bam, you get a 35-degree night and they get stingy. They're still where they were. They're just a little bit harder to catch. I mean, normally, you might be able to catch these fish on a regular jackhammer, even a big blade, fire some up. But now you're just having to adjust, downsize this little MiniMax. And get those fish to bite. Not a big one, but a decent one. Like I said, this is just a little ditch bend here. Probably an old buck bass moved out there. Moved up and set up out here after those stages of spawning, and there's probably some setting up to move up spawn. I mean, we're still kind of right in the mix of everything. We've got fish in all stages, but normally when they don't eat a jackhammer, this is what I go to, or an original or a regular size chatterbait. That's a big one. Real raggy. Yeah. Like that one right there, as I was saying. So that fish might not have reacted on a jackhammer or something else, but that's a healthy one. That one's probably getting ready to move up there. Anything from the big blade to the MiniMax, there's a color and a size. Every day of the year, they will eat. There's no doubt in my mind. We have tons of colors to choose from, whether they're eating bluegill, whether they're eating shad. Lots of times I'm throwing a more natural shad color. It's a bait that stays on my front deck every day of the year. Oh my gosh. I mean, good night. It doesn't get much better than that right there. Look at that big joker. Golly. Hey now. Come here, sugar. Come here. Oh, you got it, didn't you? You ate that thing up. Oh, that's one of the right kinds right there. ChatterBait MiniMax. Little streak on the back end. Nice solid pre-spawner. Let her go down there and do her thing for the rest of the year. Right before I tied this thing on, I was throwing a regular jackhammer out there, and they were pushing it. I noticed those fish were pushing. I could feel them pushing it. I knew there wasn't anything out there for it to be knocking my chatterbait off, out of whack. And I mean, it has been lights out since I tied the thing on. They're all eating it. I mean, good. They're eating it right. Just another one of those examples where that little change will make a whole difference. Old chunk. Another thing too with this is, I'm a big river fisherman. Down here in central Arkansas, South Arkansas, we fish lots of rivers, and lots of the year they're extremely tough. So having something like this in your arsenal to downsize, if you're on tough fisheries like those river systems, that's something that can get those bites that other guys might not clue into and get. One of my favorite trailers to put on the back. I really keep it to 2 trailers. I've got a diesel minnow, Z-Man diesel minnow, and I throw a Z-Man streak. I throw a diesel minnow when I feel like I really have to slow roll it. I want that bait to kind of drag coming through the water. If I'm fishing it real shallow too. Talked about throwing it on river systems before. Lots of times I'm throwing it really, really shallow. These fish are a little bit deeper. I'll switch up to that streak. Obviously it's shad and mimics that pattern of that skirt really well. But what that streak allows that bait to do down there under the water is when you fast twitch it, kind of hop it, juice it, as a lot of people say, that bait will really hunt. It'll dart out there a foot to the right or the left and really hunt. And a lot of times with these stingy fish, that's what it takes to trigger that bite. There's a lot of fish grouped up right here at where these 2 ditches meet. That's not just where this thing shines though. This is an incredible search bait. I mean, you can throw it out there and wind it fast. You can cover a ton of water with this thing. And that's why I like it so much, because whether I've got a group of fish that I'm just trying to figure out how to make them fire, like these, or whether I'm just going down the bank looking, you know I can pick up this bait and do both of those things. It can either trigger up groups of fish that are acting stingy, or I can just search with it and go looking for big ones, like that one right there. Come on, Nelly. Being old big. I don't know if she is. Good one. Oh, stay on there. Don't do anything crazy on me. Come on, baby. That's a small hook, but notice how thick the gauge is on that hook. I put my finger up behind you, can see a little better. That is a thick gauge hook. It's not flexed or anything. I'm throwing on the same setup that I would a regular 3/8 or 1/2 ounce jackhammer. And that is a 7-foot, medium heavy, moderate fast rod. Throw it on a 7-to-1 gear ratio dial with steez. And I throw it on 14 pound line. Sometimes I'll jump up to 16 pound if I'm around a lot of cover. 90% of the time though, 99% of the time, I'm throwing 14 pound. I like that little bit softer rod. And the reason is, 1, when I load up to throw this bait, I can throw it really far. But 2, it allows those fish to really get that bait down. It's a lot like you might throw say a glass rod on a treble hook style bait. This moderate fast action, it's got enough backbone to really drive that hook, but it's got that softness to it to allow those fish to really inhale that bait good. If you've seen all these fish that I've been catching today, they've had it really good. And going from I was throwing a jackhammer, like I said before, and they were pushing it and nipping at it, short striking it. And then you go to MiniMax where they're obviously keyed in on it a lot better. And then you throw that little bit of moderate action in that rod, it allows them to really suck that bait in and get it back where you want them. Come on. Oh, another chunk. Look at that one. Right rod, right bait. So, cold front, found a little group of fish out here on the side of this ditch. Wouldn't fire necessarily on the bigger chatterbaits and the jackhammers. Downsize. Z-Man MiniMax. Having something like that where you know you can downsize and get those stingier fish to bite in your box is something you have to have with you at all times, especially this time of year. We got Delta big cold front. Downsizing is always key.